They're going
They're
down.
going down.
I'm
yeah.
So we're a Thursday Club. We're here 10 episodes in. So today, what we're talking about, we are talking about relegation and who the winners are. So before we get into that, John, can we just talk a little bit about last week and why you weren't here?
I've already talked about this on Tuesday. I don't want to talk about it again.
Oh, I wasn't there Tuesday.
Christ. Okay, well, I managed to get a last-minute ticket for Everton Fulham. I was very excited. As I was explaining yesterday, it was a beautiful sunny day. A few of us went up from Bristol, all Evertonians, all with full of hope. I don't think we've lost to Fulham in the Premier League at home in the Premier League era. So I think we're all pretty confident. And then we lost 3-1, and it was really, really bad. And the second half was probably the worst half of football I've seen under Dyche. And we were sat above the away fans, which was great.
Mate.
They were, even though they're Fulham fans and basically just all old people, they were living the dream. And we were all just depressed and wanted to jump off the balcony of the Goodison Park. So, yeah, it was pretty bad.
We didn't get an introduction in this, did we? He just dropped an F-bomb. Didn't even introduce us this week, did he?
No, I think he went all out of sync, didn't he, on his singing?
He had a bit of Kesha. Yeah, I
got excited.
Yeah.
I'm not playing it straight-laced every week.
Okay, fair enough.
So for those of you that can't read the giant titles above the boys' heads, today with me we have Ricky, a.k.a. Sorare Mamba, and Johnny, a.k.a. Dornado.
The duck lover.
The duck lover. The tripod. So what's the story of the duck lover then? Come on.
I literally have no idea. I will defer to Ricky for that. I don't listen to talk shit because it's crap. So, Rick, would you like to...
Another profanity. Cool, this is a hard-hitting podcast.
You telling me you don't listen to Gabby Agbonlahor or just spout shite all day?
No, although it does have what's her name on it, and yeah.
Woodsy.
Should we get her on the show?
Yeah.
She'd come on, I reckon.
Spotlight on Arsenal.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I don't know anything about it. Rick, would you like to explain what would it be?
I just know you're a massive fan of duck, aren't you, mate? Hoisin, pecking, crispy, duck racing, rubber ducks.
Golden ducks at cricket.
Golden ducks at cricket, yeah.
The Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks, yeah. Anaheim Ducks. I've never seen someone have such a wide-ranging portfolio of duck interests. That's why, to me, you're the duck lover.
Nice.
Okay, I like it.
So everyone, hello and welcome to the Sorare Duck Show.
That's an odd start to today's show.
Should we like try and get back on track a little bit?
Yeah,
we should probably
talk about Sorare, right?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, probably should. So, I don't know if it's really the place to start, but let's start with the weekly ramble then.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky T, I think you've got something hot off the press you want to share with you.
Well, obviously, I had many good ideas myself, but Sorare dropped a product roadmap for the next few months today, giving soft timelines for the majority of things they've got coming up. So I thought we could just run through these and see what we think of each of the bits. So the first paragraph is things that we can expect in the coming weeks. So short-term gains is the J1 League is the first one they got. The new season Japanese cards coming out with enhanced designs.
Enhanced.
I personally am a big fan of the J League just because it's one of the first ones we had when we were on here. I was a Consadole boy, thanks to Sorare. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having those cards back.
Which Consadole was your favourite? Was it the N64? PS4?
Yeah, N64. GameCube was a close second.
We are on fire tonight, I'm telling you now. Wow.
What about you boys? Looking forward to the J League?
I love the J League. I absolutely love the J League. I'm similar to you. Got a bit of a penchant for the Japanese football.
You've definitely got a bit of a paunch, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. A bit of one, yeah. But yeah, I'm a Yokohama F Marinos lad. You know, cut me and I bleed Marinos. But no, yeah, I think it's exciting to have the cards back, and as previously discussed, it's good for the game as a whole.
Yeah, Jazz, you?
No, I'm not a fan. No interest. I'm a fan
Wow.
of Fukumori, and that's as far as I go.
You're more of an MLS fan, aren't you, mate? With all your MLS knowledge that you've got.
That is true. I'm thinking about becoming a play sharper MLS expert because I've seen that you need to hit about 60-70% to get in. Is that right?
Touche.
Go on,
All
Rick.
right.
Anyway.
Next up, they had marketplace updates, including plans for introducing a secondary market fee. So I guess this would be similar to they have it on basketball already, don't they? 5% on secondary market fees. Seen Powell Traders already come out tonight, vehemently against it. I always thought that it would eventually happen anyway, so it's not too surprising to me. And I think it's probably a good way to make the platform a bit more sustainable long term. Another income source for them. They can use it to perhaps increase ETH rewards, offer more ETH rewards. I always thought it would happen. So yeah, I'm not too shocked it's coming in. And I guess the plans to introduce it will be something like start of the next European season, maybe.
Is it a percentage of the thing, or is it a flat rate, sort of just same price for everything? I guess but
it's just a flat rate on
so even if you're selling a 50p card or a
10 grand card, yeah,
it'll be the same. Interesting. I'm not sure how that will work, because surely you just hoard 50p cards then. Why would you ever get rid of them?
I like it. I think they need to do it, don't they? To keep the platform sustainable, from a business perspective, it's the right move, which gives me more confidence going forwards. The only people that miss out are potentially the low traders or people left with shite that people aren't willing to pay the extra for. Because will it mean that people just list it as they are and take the hit, or will it mean that people list 5% above, for instance, to make space for it? I don't know. Be interesting.
What would be good is if you could list in bundles. If you could do one package deal sort of thing with 10 cards and just list it as one purchase, and that way, I mean, obviously that will mean that Sorare lose money because they could be getting 10 times the sort of transaction.
They could take. I'm sure they could find a way to take 10 times 5%, couldn't they, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you pay these fees on like eBay. Like if you were to actually do a real auction in an auction house of anything, like you pay a fee. Like it's why should this be any different?
Yeah, I think as soon as you saw it coming in the American sports, you knew it was eventually going to come to football. But there's been a bit of unrest in football at various times, isn't there? So I guess they didn't want to unveil it till the right moment, and maybe they're trying to bury it with a bit of good news. But a lot of people don't like it. Powell Trader, Jesse's favourite Sorare manager.
Hey mate, we all need a bit of Pavel every now and then.
Yeah. But yeah, that's obviously.
Have we ever seen Jesse and Pavel Trader in the same room together? Because
maybe we are right now. Who knows?
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right. Next point. They're going to commit to maintaining the threshold reward amounts and key parts of the gameplay experience, only making changes during select time periods like transfer windows, where we'll notify managers in advance, and introducing the new double game week rule. I guess you've both seen that. They're going to change from it just being the first game that counts to being the best ball. So the best of the two games will count, which I mean makes sense.
Much better.
It keeps you interested in both their games instead of not caring what they do in the second one. And yeah, it probably makes those players, well, it does make them more high powered, doesn't it? If your player's got two games, two chances to hit the score you want. So yeah, it adds a different dimension to it. And it's good that they're backing up ETH commitment to an ETH threshold, because at the end of the day, that's what the majority of people are aiming for at the moment with car prices going down, isn't it? That's the priority. So yeah, anytime they back up ETH rewards or ETH payouts, I think it will go down well. Anything to add?
When you think about the double game weeks, I was just going to say that instantly what comes to mind is the European games with that. So because they quite often do Friday, Monday, don't they? Is when they have a European 2-week break. So those games would obviously both fall in one game window. So I think there was a similar thing happened with the Easter break, actually, with the championship games, because there was Friday, Monday in the championship, and I had a few championship players. And obviously, all of them scored horrifically on the Friday and really well on the Monday. So, I think it's good for a few different players. That's for sure.
The most nice thing for that is it makes all games relevant. So, the whole point, the reason why we keep playing Sorare is because it's fun. And if you've got a game with 2 games and your team's playing one, you've probably got interest in one game, not the other. Whereas if you've got two chances now, you're going to watch or be interested in both games. It just makes football generally more interesting, or for me, it will do anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it is a good point you made about the international breaks, because some teams have played 2 absolute rotters in a row, don't they? Like an England or something, where if you've got a good player that gets 2 matches, he's probably guaranteed to put up a high score on one of them if they're playing 2 games where they dominate 80% of possessions and bang in 4 or 5 goals. So yeah, it's an interesting thought. Next point: add mystery jersey items to the club shop to be redeemed for coins. So this is the first edition, next edition to the club shop. Mystery jersey items. Have you been saving coins?
I swear they've said this about 4 times now. Have they not? I mean, I think it's a great idea. I want it definitely to happen, but I'm ready for it to happen now.
Do we think it's real? Are we talking actual real jersey giveaways? Is that what we're saying in this club shop?
It says mystery jerseys. And if we go on to the things, there's another point later on in the next 3 months where it says expand the club shop so it becomes a key part of a manager's Sorare journey by offering real life items like jerseys, tickets, and once in a lifetime experiences. So
and pillow and duvet case sets, because that's what I want.
Well, I'd want a hat. I want a Sorare cap.
A hat, yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
My thing with all this, mate, is it's great, but it's tailored towards the person with the bigger gallery that earns more coins every single time. Whereas, although playing Sorare competitions, you stand more chance with a bigger gallery or better players, you still have a punt at hitting a good score and actually getting the win, even if you're not a big gallery. So I understand they're doing as much as they can to appease the bigger galleries, but yeah, it doesn't. Again, as someone who's rebuilding, so I can probably give it from the perspective of new joiners. Unless the shop stuff's attainable, it doesn't do that much for me. I don't know what it would do for other people.
Yeah, but there has to be some value on it, and people have to be rewarded if they've spent more. You can't just give everything to everyone, and I'm sure there'll be some things like raffles where you can get a buy-in to win something, like you can exchange coins for an entry into to win a once in a lifetime experience, and maybe the Wales can buy 100 and you can buy 1, but that's just like how things work. If you're only going to spend a tenner, you can't really expect the same opportunities as people who are willing to put in a lot more money into the platform. But I think there should be things for everyone, or at least ability to enter to win things. But I like the idea.
Is like some sort of gauge on like people that put new money in, because we benefited loads from going in at the start of the platform and then just milking it. And obviously I've got out now, so I've started again. You boys are still milking it a bit, and there will be loads of accounts that can do the same and benefit from it. If they found a way to like reward new money, which would incentivize the big accounts to do more as well, then I think everyone would win that way, and Sorare would make a lot more money as well.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? They got to find the right balance between, keeping they want to keep the whales happy, and they want to keep them in. Like, everyone needs to be kept happy, don't they? They don't function without each other.
I just think it's a nice way to add a grinding feature in where you have a target of how much a jersey costs, and you want to get to that, or if you want to get to a hat or something, and it gives you a reason to look at how many coins your teams are winning each week. So I know I'm putting in extra teams now just because I'm like, well, if they hit that points, I get 50 coins. Whereas before I wasn't doing it because I wanted to protect my win percentage or whatever. But now it's like, well, I'll just bung as many teams as I can in and hope that they get the minimum coin threshold.
I'd personally be buzzing to get some merch. Sorare merch. I'd love that.
I'd love to get a top. Some form of jersey would be brilliant.
I like it. I like the idea of grinding towards things. Anything that you can like aim for, and yeah, I've not been spending my coins because I want to see what actually comes out. So I'm
not against it. I'm massively for it. I'm just intrigued to see how attainable it is for regular accounts versus like everyone else, like or the early adopters. Maybe not the whales, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So the other point here is enhance the manager assistant feature with new educational tasks to facilitate gameplay, education, and progression. So, I think we've pretty much everyone's been agreed that we hoped they should do more to help onboard and teach people about the various aspects of the site. So that makes sense. And then the next section is what you can expect over the next 3 months. So I've done the club shop bit out of that. But they're going to outline their plans to introduce card bonuses in capped modes ahead of the new European season. So there's been a lot of feedback, wasn't there, that they wanted the bonuses included. It was too hard. What's the point in training your cards for this time if it doesn't matter in the main competitions you're using them in? So it seems like they've listened. I don't know if it'll be brought into if there'll be additional cap modes or specials, but that makes it sound like it'll be implemented into the main modes as it stands.
Do you reckon they'll increase the cap a little bit? Well, not increase the cap, increase the score you need slightly.
What's it, more than 250?
Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? Because they don't want it to be too easy. Otherwise, they're just going to end up making it like it was before, where it was just grinding every week. It's got to be a certain aspect of.
Here's one for you then. How frequent in the last 5 weeks? How many rare wins have you had?
What ETH grinding?
Yeah, because we've all got a rare team. So how many have you had in the last 5 weeks?
Well, I don't know. I'll have to look. Definitely not every week. Maybe. How long have we been doing it? 10 weeks, maybe. Since it came in.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm maybe hitting around 30 to 40% now, when it was probably more like 80 to 90% before.
So that's probably about right then, because 80-90% is too easy.
Exactly.
I've been crap at it. It's the hardest thing for me has been getting the cap 240. Right, I've hit the super rare one once, the rare one once, and the limited one 3 times. I've been failing really bad at it. So yeah, I had to get
I'm the same. I've limited one I found easier because it's more accessible to keep buying players, isn't it, to slot in?
Yeah.
Whereas like I've won the limited one probably 4 out of 5 weeks, but then the rare one I've won 0 out of 5, which is why I asked the question. And I've been 5 points off a couple of times, but yeah, I was intrigued. If you had said low as well, John, that would have been okay. Maybe it is.
I'm just having a look now. I've got 3. I've definitely got 4 that I can see.
But yeah, the point being, it shouldn't be easy. So if it's not easy, but people are hitting it here and there, then it's probably about right, because then you call it a reward rather than free money every week.
It looks like about 50% for me, and obviously Ricky got the super rare one on the weekend, so he's off the good win there.
I would have had the rare one as well, but my boy Ailman got benched out of nowhere and failed.
Oh, did he?
I was so close, but yeah, I guess they are making it easier. If you're bringing in the bonuses, that is making it easier, doesn't it? Why would you need to move the cap number?
If they brought bonuses, I would have hit probably 3 out of 5, maybe 4 out of 5.
I've been very close quite a few times, like caught out by the odd benched player or being opted down. So yeah, I think most.
If they did do that, I would probably think about then trying to progress towards supers as well.
Yeah. Next point, they share more regarding our plans for a new fiat wallet system.
Well, they need to do something about. I mean, we'll talk about this in a minute, won't we? But
we might as well do it now because cover it at the same time. So, Rick, have you got any thoughts on it before I jump in?
Well, just on the fiat wallet system, I think it probably would be the most important thing they could do in the near future is make it easier to deposit and withdraw, like you would when you put in 10 quid on an ACCA, or if you could deposit and withdraw easily from your bank and back into it like you would do on many other sites, I think that increases trust and the ease of people be willing to just stick 20 quid on, going, oh yeah, I quite fancy that rare to complete my team this week. Deposit 20 quid, don't have to piss about with wallets or crypto. So yeah, if you could make that whole process easier and just revolving around fiat, I think it's probably the biggest thing that could happen to the platform in the short term.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Agree. John, any thoughts for Jim?
Well, I think the exact same thing. Really, it's they need to appeal to the more general football fan, where they just want an easy, just to put something easy in. Do you know what I mean? It's the general football fan doesn't want to be bothering with cryptocurrencies and flipping, opening a Coinbase account and all these stupid things that, like, if you know a little bit about it, not that I know anything about it, but like, if you know a little bit about it, you're happy to do that. But if you're just a general guy down the pub who wants to buy someone and put a team in quickly, then that just kills your hope straight off the bat, doesn't it? Because it's either costs you loads of money to transfer it in, or you just can't do it and you have to wait. So yeah,
Agree with you, mate. So had I had a separate topic today outside this main one on this ramble, it would have been around depositing, and just for me, it's like one of the biggest barriers to entry still. It has been for ages. It's been talked about a lot. They've removed the use of credit cards from the secondary, haven't they? Which makes people like me. So I was using that a lot. So for me, it's quite frustrating to then have to go through the system of depositing. And there'll be a lot of people that are new to it that would prefer just to use their card. So again, I think that provides another barrier. I appreciate there's probably a reason behind it security-wise. Then we've also had a couple of examples this week of friends who have instead of going through the ramp system, have gone through transferring crypto. So one in particular, Disco Stew, who was on our pod 2 weeks ago, we did a gallery builder with him, set up the intent of him restructuring, and he put through £800 worth of ETH that day, and it still hasn't come through. So, and he's obviously got us to sort of back up the platform a bit, but imagine being brand new with no experience in the platform and suddenly having 800 quid missing. I mean, he's stressed about it. If I was a new joiner or didn't have how many years we've been on this behind us, I'd be like, I'd be seriously kicking off and thinking, what kind of scam is this?
Do we kind of know what is it? Sorare, Coinbase? What's going on?
Sorare passed to Coinbase. Coinbase have passed to Sorare. The codes match up. It's one of those classic examples of just being passed to pillar and post. And then add that to the next level, which is another one of our friends who's then trying to deposit at the minute and getting caught out by gas fees, which were, what was it, $20 or $28? It was something ridiculous, wasn't it?
Something like, as a percentage of what he's trying to put in, it's a lot.
Yeah. Which, again, barrier to entry, because you don't want to be spending money on nothing just to try and get money into the platform. So I think, long story short, they are massively missing a trick, not sorting out and simplifying it still.
Yeah.
And over.
Well, no, I agree. It's things like that makes it hard to recommend it to people, doesn't it? When people have £100 go missing, it shouldn't happen. But yeah, with 3 more things to point out: improved marketplace tools to help managers more easily identify and add optimal digital player cards to their lineups. Yeah, whatever. Sounds very vanilla.
Whatever.
Launch a new feature that celebrates and rewards managers for building collections around their favorite leagues, clubs, and players. This one is more exciting for me. I've always been more into the collectible side than probably anyone else in our Sorare group. I have a lot of one-offs, a lot of serial numbers. I like to collect the fancy special edition cards that come out. I've got 2 of their World Cup full squads. I like this. I like the collectible side of it, and I wish there was some more focus towards it. I guess the only way you can make it more relevant is to reward people for collecting things, isn't it? Like Top Shot used to do it, didn't they? You collect all of the set and get something. You could have something like that, collect all of the World Cup team and get one of the World Cup players, or collect every Consadole Sapporo player from this season and get a special edition Fukimori card. He comes with a
even if you look
design.
I was going to say, even if you look at a more like basic level, they just have something like an achievement that like earns you coins. They still only have the basic achievements, don't they? On the platform, which once you've completed them, that's That's the end of that, really. Like I've done my Everton limited stack with all the players this season. It'd be great if that would have earned me at least some coins, or I would love it to get me some sort of merch, but that's probably a long way in the future. But yeah, that's definitely an exciting thing to be brought in.
I think it's a really smart move, isn't it? Because if you think about it, we are trading NFTs, but we don't treat them like NFTs. We treat them. It's still a fantasy football platform. This takes it closer to recognizing them as NFTs. And again, like Rick's not the norm as a collector.
Not but the norm in general, really.
Or in person, yeah.
But what it does is gives like more relevance to the cards, and it also gives another stream to have fun with, and also potentially to make a profit with. And think about like even I always think like this, like do you remember on FIFA where you used to on Ultimate Team where you collect cards and then you unlock a reward. That's the kind of thing it reminds me of, it's just fun. And again, like go back to what keeps us on this outside of everything else, especially on a bear market, is the fun aspect.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, I love doing the achievements that are already on there. I collected 50 fucking Hordor Magnusons just to get the little 3-star and some shop coins. Like they've got the SoCoin option now. Just
you're literally a Hodor hoarder, and I had only just thought about that now. How have we not that name?
Yeah, I just think 500 coins to collect every player from Bristol City when they finally release them. I'd do it. It's just more things to do, more aims to have. I like collecting stuff. Let me.
You have fun during International Week when we all hate the downtime.
Yeah, I mean, I liked collecting all those shitty World Cup cards that now you can't sell for 40p, but I liked collecting a couple of squads. It was a good thing to do. So yeah, I wish there was more of it.
I like it.
And then the last point here is just more about extending the onboarding experience, so that newbies can understand competitions and advancement a bit better. Which, a lot of people have always said Sorare don't have enough of their own, guides and onboarding, and it's left to people like Quinny and John Nellis to produce it and things. So they should have more on site, more easily visible from the start. So simple, must be done. Good idea.
Nice. So we are 28 minutes in, following our 5-minute ramble.
Yeah.
Keeping on topic.
You can see the way this is going already. 1 hour, 28 minutes.
Should we get stuck into the main feature?
What was the main feature?
So the main feature today, we are talking, they're going down, I'm yelling by them.
They're going down. I'm yelling by them.
This is going to go viral.
It's going to be a terrible meme of that one day.
You mean we're going to get copyrighted and no one's ever going to see this? But there you go.
Or one day we might have the man himself on the show. We'll see. Anyway, who knows? Who knows where we'll end up? Look at John Nellis. He started off on the old what was it? Football Index podcast, and look where he is now.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so back
dream
on
big,
topic.
Kids, dream big.
Back on topic. Relegation winners is what we're focusing on. So the idea of today is we got now generally, not always, but a lot of the top leagues got about 6-ish games left for the end of the season in Europe. A lot of people are already thinking about where to shift to for the summer, but we actually think this presents a big opportunity for next season, and in particular focusing on those teams getting relegated. So what we're going to do is start on the Prem sort of top line, just talking about who we think will go down, and then a few potential picks in terms of players that will benefit from it. And then each of us have also got then a league focus, which we'll go through doing the same thing, given a few picks that we think will benefit and it may or may not be worth picking up. So Prem, Rick, should we start with you as your first on screen?
Okay, here you go. I'll bring the Premiership table up so everyone can see what it looks like right now. And
who's going down?
Johnny can see how his boys are looking down there. Who's
going
down for me?
Zoom in on 17 a minute.
Oh, so grim. Look at it. Look how many goals that interest. Look at that. 24 goals in 31 games.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Right. So for me, I think Southampton are going to go down. I think that's not a very surprising thing to say. I'm going to go for Southampton, and players that interest me from the Southampton team are the goalie, McCarthy. They've got Bazuna, obviously, who is. And let me get their roster up while I'm talking about him. McCarthy,
keeper, isn't he?
Bazuna's a very good keeper, international. Probably stays there, probably plays every game, but he could get a move because he's young and an international. In which case, if he did move on, I think Alex McCarthy probably steps in and plays a whole championship season, and he's currently a very reasonable price. But also, I've seen lots in the news that he will be sold off to another championship team and that he wants to move to get first team football. So at the moment, he's very cheap and he's a very solid goalie on previous history. So I think, he's a very cheap pickup, whether he plays for Southampton or wherever he plays for someone else. The other person I noticed from Southampton, I must say I picked this guy because I have a big penchant for him from fantasy football. It was, where's he to? Liveramento. Is that how you say his name? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Here he is. Found him. Tino Livramento. He's had a really bad injury and he's been out for a really long time. He's a young player and he was hot property, wasn't he, when he was when he started?
He was at Chelsea, wasn't he? Yeah, Chelsea guy.
And he played really well before his injury. There's a lot of talk about him. He was the great £4 million option in FPL, I think, was how I came to know about him. I don't know if they have his scores on here. Yeah, so here you go. He was playing and putting up some decent numbers. So if he's fully recovered by the time he gets the crack at the championship, I can't see him going anywhere with his injury problems. So I think he would be a really good shout for them. Down in the championship, and my final pick from Southampton was Ward-Prowse, because he's going to get a move and he's good enough to play for a decent Premiership team, right? So,
do you think that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he'll be the same player.
I mean, he's got an England squad, so
he's very good. He is. Even if he just gets in for set pieces, like wherever he goes, he's going to take set pieces because he's absolutely unbelievable.
He's got a wand.
Yeah. So it doesn't. I mean, if he's doing pretty well for Leeds, not for Leeds, doing pretty well for Southampton, then he's going to do pretty well with a lot better strikers on the end of his crosses, I'd say.
See, I think he's really good, but my concern with him is I just got this horrible feeling he's going to go to Spurs.
I was just about to say he's got Spurs written all over him.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's a good thing.
He's the sort of guy that Everton would have spunked loads of money on about 8 years ago. I wish we had that.
I also really like the look of that Paul Onochua, who came from Belgium. Yeah. He hasn't started very well there, but I imagine he's only just a new signing, so he'll probably stay. And I could imagine him smashing in the championship.
Do you want to keep Southampton on screen? If we've got the same pick, we'll wrap through them at the same time.
Yeah, go for it.
John, are you going for Southampton as well?
I am going for Southampton. So I thought we were just talking about this as a whole. So I haven't picked out 3 players in particular. But
anyone take your fancy?
I mean, obviously, as you mentioned, James Ward-Prowse is the boy.
Your boy Theo.
I do like. Not Theo Walcott. Kamaldeen Sulemana is a very good player. If you want to get him up on screen there, rather than me doing it. He came over from, Lorient, was it, or something like that? He's a very decent player, completely wasted in. He's from
Rennes.
He's a very good.
Rennes.
I believe he's quite young. He's looked decent-ish when he's played for Southampton. He's come on. He's absolute pace as well. So, I mean, I don't think he stays with them if they get relegated. So it might worth getting him on the cheap now. Like if you look at that rare price there, 0.04 for a forward card as well. I think that's very cheap. Ward-Prowse and who's that fullback? Carl Walker-Peters I've always liked as well. Gets forward. I think he might be injured at the moment, but he's someone that I can see staying with them when/if they get relegated, and probably ripping up the championship with Southampton. I think Southampton are one of the teams that are gonna, if they get relegated, do bounce straight back up. They got a lot of actually really good young prospects there. I think they bought a couple of Man City's under 21s over, who are 2 good players as well. So I think they are definitely going to get relegated, but they will do well in the Championship if they do go down. So a lot of those players.
So I take it you got Southampton as well, Jess?
I have. I think they're nailed on to go down. I like quite a few of those picks. I like McCarthy. I'm actually going to try to target myself. Walker Peters is a very good choice because he's he's cheap, and he's also like, he's not. I don't think he's quite good enough for Prem. He's classic. He's going to stay there, isn't he? If they get relegated, and he'll play every week, and if they dominate the league, then he'll actually do quite well. So I think he would have been one of my main targets for his price. Bella Kotchup is a very good player. He's probably too good for Southampton. He's made the Germany team at, how old is he now? 21. So, and he's still scoring fairly well, even in a shite team underperforming. So I think he'll probably move on to a better club, a bigger club. If he stays there, then he'd be an absolute, you'd have to 100% go for him, I would say.
Is it this guy, Bella Kotchup?
Yeah, he's good. He's a good player. I think he's getting linked with a bit bigger clubs already, isn't he? Does he get linked with Arsenal or Man United or something like that?
Yeah, he's quality. It was quite a surprise that he went to Southampton in the first place. But I suppose Van Dijk did the same, didn't he?
Got some AA game behind him at times as well. 43, 38, 33.
I'll tell you, I can definitely tell you who I won't be recommending, and that's Jan Bednarek, because I've watched that football probably about 10, 15 times, and he either does an error leading to goal or an own goal every single game, I swear. So bad.
And my final pick would be Shea Adams, because again, I think he's one that will probably stay with them if they get relegated to Championship. He's played at Championship level and done well. He's a Scotland international, generally starts for them. I think when they get relegated, he has the potential to be the Championship's top scorer. So I'll be hunting him down myself as well, probably. How much is he at the minute? How much is his price?
53 quid was his last sale. Current floor is a bit higher.
See, I think that's a bargain. I want one.
He was on my list. Him and Paul on.
And his middle name is Everton as well, which is genuine truth.
Is it actually?
Wow.
Yeah, his dad's a massive Evertonian. I think when he moved to Southampton, he was to go to Everton for that exact reason. But
how
95% of all footballers are linked with Everton. So
how do I remove him from my watch list?
All right. So my second pick to go down would be a team that I gleefully see go down, and it's my dad's team, currently in 16th place, Leeds United. I think they are an absolute mess at the moment, and they don't seem to be able to couldn't stop us 3 scoring against them. I do not think they're going to stay up. I haven't looked at their fixtures, to be honest, but they seem to be getting battered by anyone at the moment. So picks that I like from this team, Meslier, the goalie, because I think he's solid and young. So either if he stays at Leeds when they go down and gets a full Championship season, I don't see anyone taking his place if he stayed. But also I could see potential that he could move on. But I don't think he'd go anywhere to be a sub. So, his price reflects that though. But I think it's a solid purchase. I also like Cock. You heard that right?
Yeah, you do.
You heard that right. I also
old Dick Leather, Rick the Dick Leather over there.
He is really cheap for someone that plays every game. He has shown some ability to put decent scores in, but I'm just presuming that in a 46 game Championship season, starting every game for one of the stronger teams in the league, more clean sheets, more possession, more balls out from the back. You want, a nailed defender in one of the good teams is something you'd want to have. And he's got contract till 24. So unless he's sold, he's likely to be there. And at that cheap price, really interests me from a team that I actually hate. So I don't really want too many of their players. I like Jack Harrison in the middle if I was looking for a midfielder. But the other one I was going to go for is one of the forwards. I was tempted by Bamford, but his injury record really puts me off. He can never seem to stay on the pitch for more than 20 minutes at the moment. So I'd probably go for Rutter, the big money signing that come in and just hasn't done anything. He's got a really long-term contract and he's under 23 for a while. So he's a good long-term investment from the Sorare side of things. If you're banging him out for 46 game season in the championship, is your under 23 striker. He's been pants of them so far and hasn't really lived up to his massive price tag. But, you know, I'd imagine some of the other players might get shedded first. There's not really going to be the market for him because he's done naff all since he's got there. So they might be left with him and he might lead the line in the championship. So I'd be taking a punt on him at that price if I had to have one of the dirty scummers in my team.
Which you won't.
Which I won't. Did he?
He's a record signing. He's a record signing, isn't he?
And he's
Yes.
not done it. Either of you pick Leeds?
I picked Leeds. I wouldn't have picked Leeds about a week ago, or a couple of weeks ago, but having watched both of their last 2 games, they lost 5-1 and 6-1. I don't see how they're going to come back from that. I know they're above a couple of teams at the moment. They've got a tough run in. Confidence will be heavily low after those 2 absolute demolishings. I've got much the same players there, really. I think Somerville, I don't know if you mentioned Somerville too much, but sorry, let me just share my screen with you. It's probably a good idea, isn't it?
Did you watch the Leeds documentary?
I did, yeah. It's an interesting watch.
He's big on that, isn't he?
I wouldn't waste my time watching a program about Leeds, but
there we go. So I've watched a few of their games due to the fact that I want them to lose all the time, so I'm constantly watching. Somerville's a very decent little young player. We've got Wilfred Nosso as well, is also a very good young player. Both actually, well, Somerville's very cheap. Nosso, I think, is a little bit more expensive. He gets in the Italy squad and actually starts them in some games, which is pretty 19-year-old, but he's very good. I wouldn't go for your boy Ilan Meslier because he makes so many errors. He's like a young version of Hugo Lloris. He's wildly inconsistent, and I heard a stat from him saying he conceded his last 11 shots on target. He conceded goals in the last 2 games, so pretty embarrassing behaviour, if you ask me, for a goalkeeper. You'd know that, wouldn't you, Rick? Must have conceded 5.
Only one of us still playing football, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Just have an extended break, mate. So
anyone can stand in goal for 90 minutes, mate.
I'm the only one still doing it, though.
That's true. But they got a lot of good young players. I'm not sure how many stay on. If they do go down, they've got McKennie, Tyler Adams. I think these players are probably too good for the championship, personally. Playing.
Got Aronson, Rocker.
Forshaw will probably be prominent in the league below, I'd say. Players like Adam Forshaw. That'll be how bad it is.
All right. Should I hit my last one?
Yeah, go on. Hit us up.
Okay, my last one is one that I never thought I'd be saying, but Leicester City. They are in it, obviously, at the moment at 19th, and everything says that they'll get out of it and that Everton, Leeds, West Ham are more likely to go down. But, you know, I maybe this is because I quite enjoy seeing another good team down in the championship, so they have to come to Ashton Gate. That's what I always want. I'd really like Everton and Leicester to go down personally, and Leeds. I'd like to see them.
A good team, did you say?
Well, teams that I'd enjoy seeing. So I'd enjoy seeing us stuff Everton at Ashton Gate just for Johnny. But Leicester would be great, right? Get them in the championship. I'd love it. But in terms of what we can look at picking the bones at for Sorare wise, you'd imagine a lot of these players would move on. Is the main thing you get when you look at Leicester. Soyuncu's probably going. Wout Faes is playing really well on a Sorare level, but I don't know if that means he's going to go in real life. Would they keep Suter, Evans? It's hard to predict who's going to stay. Madison surely got to go. But if I was looking, Tielemans, you'd imagine, goes. Harvey Barnes is probably the one that I'd like to hedge my bet on Sorare because prices of everyone else is quite high. Barnes is 0.045. You know, that feels like you're hedging your risk on a player that probably
He's
leaves, right?
as well. He's really good. Like
high upside.
I've always rated Harvey Barnes a lot. I think he might also be someone that leaves if they do go down.
Yeah, you'd imagine he leaves. If he stayed, he'd absolutely tear up the championship. You'd imagine he leaves, but I'd like his price because I feel he goes and probably starts somewhere else, which is, I think, is important when you're looking at these relegated teams. So yeah, I definitely go for Harvey Barnes. Again, goalkeepers union, I'd be looking at the goalkeepers. Danny Ward started the season, but then got kicked out because he's Danny Ward, and everyone realised that. And Daniel Iverson came in, who's played all the games recently, and his last sale was 0.14. You know, he's playing every game at the moment. If they were to get relegated, or even if they were to stay up, they haven't got anyone that looks like they can overtake him at the moment. Maybe if they stay up, they'll get another goalie in. But if they go down, maybe they just run Iverson again, and that's a solid price for a championship goalie. 0.14, if you could get him at that again for a 46-game season, you know, that would interest me. So he'd probably be my second pick for them. I
like him a lot, mate. That's a great pick because he's not too good for the championship, is he? That's a perfect keeper.
Exactly. And I'd looked at Suter and Justin at the back. James Justin's been out for a really long time, but he was very promising before he got injured. Suter, I just don't imagine him really moving on, so he probably stays there. But I wanted something a bit more gravy on my picks, so I went for Patson Daka. A lot of hype, hasn't lived up to it. Would anyone want to buy him from Leicester? I imagine not. Vardy is on the way out and he scored 1 goal all season. Iheanacho, I think, is probably more likely to get a move. So maybe he's the one that stays in the championship if they went down and finally started to put up some decent performances. For 0.03, that would be the one that I'd be taking a punt on of their forward line. So yeah. Anyone else have Leicester?
I do not have Leicester.
I didn't think.
Or Jesse as your last one.
Yeah.
Who have I got? Well, I've got two to go. So I've got.
Oh, you got 2 left. Cool. Oh God, I can see where this is going. I can see where this is going.
Nottingham Forest, I've gone for.
Yeah.
So Forest. Why have I gone for Forest? A couple of reasons. One is because they're not scoring enough goals. So I really rate Keylor Navas. I think he's a really good keeper. He's gone at the end of the season, whatever. But they're not scoring enough goals and they're conceding. So for me, I thought all season that they were overachieving at the start and they would go down, and I'm still stick with that. Who do I think is worth picking up? I mean, keeper-wise, Wayne Hennessy, I'm not sure because of his age. Navas has gone. Henderson's been injured, and I think he's still on loan, isn't he? So I think goalkeeper might totally change, to be honest.
I was going to say, I don't think any of those 3 keepers will be there next season.
No. So I wouldn't bank on any of that. Then defence-wise, no one's really sticking out. Toffolo, actually, potentially, because he played for Huddersfield in the Championship. I've seen him play against City a few times in Bristol City, and he was actually a very good, effective defender in the Championship. So he's someone who, at 16 quid, maybe probably picking up 15 quid. I'd actually say that could be an absolute steal to have a starter next season in the Championship for a decent side at 15 quid. So he'd probably be my first choice. Then going into the midfield, Big Remo is obviously a class act, but Swiss international for 20 quid, yes please, plays every single game. That I'd say you should consider him, but his scores are always pretty average. Morgan Gibbs-White is probably the second choice for me. I would have gone for. I think he was massively overpaid for when he went there. They paid a stupid amount, didn't they? But I think at championship level, yes, ridiculous. No one's going to pay that again to buy him out. Championship level, I think he'll do really, really well, and he'll be their main player. It's a shame he's a midfielder, not a striker, because if you're a striker, I'd go for him straight away. But I think, again, he'll overperform, scores like 41 in the Championship. And then my final pick would be in the forward line. I'd normally go for Brennan Johnson, but we've been told by a mate of ours in our group that there's no chance he stays. I think he's a good player, but I'm not going to risk it. So I'm going to go for Sam Surridge. I think again, we've known him for years, haven't we? Because of Football Index. It was a bit of an ongoing joke, really, and then suddenly he actually turned out to be a proper professional striker. So I think if they go down, he's the type of player. He's been coming on as a sub. He's the type of player that probably starts games more in the Championship. And again, how much is he going to cost you? I mean, 20 quid realistically, you're not paying 65. I think he's a good pickup.
I've got his. I bought his shirt serial number when he got released.
Did you?
Sam Surridge, yeah, for a bit of
Yes, nostalgia, isn't it?
Yeah,
nice.
John, did you have him?
Whilst we're there, I've also got Forest. So they're also in a bit of a free fall. Like you, I thought they were overachieving a little bit. Always thought they'd get dragged back into it a touch. They've got really tough fixtures. Their last sort of 7-8 games. So yeah, I think they're definitely going to be down there. That's for sure. Difficult to pick players considering their squad list is about 78 due to the transfers they did at the start of the season. So, I mean, if I was a Forest fan, I'd be very worried about relegation because, I don't know, it seems like the sort of thing where they really have put all their eggs in one basket and staying up. So if they don't stay up, it could be a complete mass sell-off or mass loan-off of a lot of these players to try and get their wages off the bill. But, some players I would pick out would be Nico Williams. He started the season for them, and then Sorare came in and took his place. But if there's one person that leaves when they go to the Championship, it's Sorare. He seems like an absolute big timer, so there's no way he's going to play in the Championship. Nico Williams has already done it in the Championship with Fulham. He's also got international utility. He loves a decisive as well if there's ever loads. It's not going to load, but he loves the decisive. He's going to cost you about 35, 40 quid at the moment, which I think is dirt cheap really for him. He's still under 23 as well, I think, for another couple of years. So yeah, that's a bit of good value there. You've mentioned Toffler. I think he's another good pick. A lot of these players have already got Championship experience, so there's a few options. You've got Gibbs White, like you said. Ryan Yates, I know, is a fan favourite at Forest, and we'll probably just walk straight back into starting every week. I think he is starting every week now in the Premier League, to be honest. But Premier League's a little bit too far above him, I think. So Championship, he'd probably settle right back in. And then, the other two players I was going to mention was Sam Surridge, mainly for the nostalgic reason of betting 50 Sam Surridge futures on a golf match between me, Ricky, and Jesse back in the Football Index days. But yeah, another player I would have said was Chris Wood, but then just as I started researching, I realised due to the fact he was injured when the Premier League came on the game, he's not actually on cards created at the moment. But if he does get some cards created, I think Chris Wood's the type of striker that will rip Championship to shreds. Like, he will probably score 50, 20 goals for them if they do go down. When he eventually has cards, I think they'll probably be dirt cheap due to the fact he'll have no prior games and he's injured. But yeah, I'd get him in if I was to get anyone in.
Nice.
Right. I just had a notification you don't get every day from Sorare. My goalie's just scored.
Wow. Who was that?
Ben Wilson, the Coventry goalie's just scored a 95th minute equaliser.
What?
Wow. Is that going to be 100 incoming?
66. He conceded as well.
I feel like a keeper scoring goals should be an automatic 100.
It should be a double decisive.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Who got the assist? It wasn't Gustavo Hamer, was it?
He did get this. He did get an assist though.
Oh, go on, Hames.
He got the assist for Ben Wilson, so he must have put the cross in or something that he headed in.
Or corner, maybe.
Yeah. Right.
Tidy. So we've got one more team left. I think I have anyway. John, you got one more as well?
No, I've done my 3 now.
Okay, just with me then, is it? So, okay, let's get me up on screen again. So this is probably my favourite pick of the group.
Whee!
How did I know?
So, legit, this isn't just a wind-up. I think that Everton are going down. And the main reason being, they've only scored 24 goals, same as Forest, right? And the one thing that historically keeps you in the league is a striker or someone who scores goals. And I cannot see where you're going to get goals from, mate. I honestly cannot. So I've got a feeling that this is the year Everton go down. I hate to say it. We wind you up because it's funny, but I genuinely think you probably are going to go down.
It's not exactly like I can argue or claim that we're way better than we are, because we're down there for a reason, and we've been down there for two and a half years now. struggling at the bottom. I mean, I don't want to take over here because it's Everton. I'll let you do your
Well,
spiel.
I'm actually going to ask you in a minute as the expert. But so I'll tell you my 3 picks very quickly. So I would have gone for James Garner just because of his. I've always hear him as like the future of Everton, and I assume if they go down a level, he will get a lot more game time and probably sort of flourish. I don't know. Be interested to hear your thoughts. The other player I would go for. Actually, he's just strikers. There's 2 of them. So Ellis Sims, because I've watched him play for Sunderland, and he was really good.
He's really good
at
player,
lower level. And I've seen him play live as well against Bristol City. He's a decent player at that level, so I think he will actually do well. And same again, Neil Mopé, who you might laugh about, but I think it was Brighton when I used to watch him, and he absolutely shredded the defenders at Championship level. I think he's one of those classic strikers at Premiership's a level too high, but he'll step down and he'll do well again. And he's not good enough that anyone's going to want him. So unless he decides to leave, I think you're probably stuck with him on high wages in the Championship. What do you reckon are those 3? Would you take any out? Would you add anyone in?
I mean, just on your 3 choices there, I mean, Neil Mopé was absolutely horrific on the weekend and has been since we bought him. He scored 1 good goal, which earned us 3 points, to be fair. So if we stay up by 3 points, it'd be worth it just for that 1 goal. But yeah, he is definitely a Championship striker. I think he probably flourished in a team that's a lot better than us because he is the kind of person to put the ball in the net at the end, although he is struggling like mad with that at the moment. But I think he certainly was on the weekend. He was trying to get involved too much. We needed him to just be at the end to just tap the ball in. Like sort of Calvert-Lewin was a few years ago. One thing I would say is Calvert-Lewin is back in full training now and will hopefully come back and be our messiah because we haven't struggled to create chances the last 10 games. It's just like you say, it's putting the ball in the net. That age-old thing that is required to win football matches, and it's a complete shit show of performance from top to bottom at Everton at the moment. We've known as fans that we needed a striker, even when we had Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin sort of firing. And yeah, we sold Richarlison because we had to balance our books and not go into the financial crisis. And Calvert-Lewin's constantly injured, so it's just a complete shit show from top to bottom. But yeah, a lot of those players would do well in the Championship if they went down. I don't think we will. Hopefully, still think we're going to be okay. James Garner would do well, like you said. I think he's a very good player. McNeil would do well. Nathan Patterson, I really like the future for Nathan Patterson. I think he's a really good fullback. But
yeah. Your whole club's crusty giblets. Let's see you in the Championship next year.
It's depressing. I'm very depressed with it all.
I can see by Rick's face just then. He either wants us to move on or he's just uncomfortable about us talking.
Yeah, he doesn't like it. Yeah, the gate is closing, and we need to get to the gate quick.
So right, here's what we're going to do. We've got 15 minutes left, 5 minutes each. We're going to do a whistle-stop tour, one league each. You're going to tell me which 3 teams are going to get relegated, and you're going to either give me 3 quick picks or 1 deep dive in terms of a player. That's it. 5 minutes. Okay. Rick, it's on you. Go. When you hear the buzz, you're out.
I'll go till I'm ready. I was looking at La Liga. I didn't do any second divisions because it's notoriously hard for teams to come up from the second division and predict which players will do well in the top league. So I'm looking at La Liga. I think Elche will go down. I think Espanyol will go down. And I think either Cadiz or Almeria will go. I think Valencia will get out of it. But I know fuck all about Almeria or Cadiz. So I went for Valencia because at least I know some of their players. But let's start at the bottom and go for Elche. Elche are bottom. They're probably the one you can say are nailed on to go down. Players I like from their team are Edgar Badia, the goalie. Nailed on, good goalie. I think they'd be a stronger team in the division below, and I think he'd do really well for them. Decent price. I guess there is even a chance he moves on, but he's under contract. I think they keep him. He starts every game next year and would do very well in the league below. So I think he's a good price to pick up if you're a second division player like myself. Next player, I cannot believe that I'm picking this guy. This is Omar Mascarell. I used to own loads of him on Football Index. One of my first cards at Schalke on this game. I looked at their team, and look at his fucking scores: 70 L5. He costs 0.02, and he plays for bottom of the league, and he's putting this up.
That's filthy.
That's very impressive.
I just shout out Omar Mascaral. How could you not put him in here?
I'm buying one right now.
I've already put 2 offers in before this started, so I couldn't believe that price. But yeah, incredible. And my last pick with them is Lucas Boy, who is a good price for a striker. He's had a bit of injury trouble. He's obviously up front for bottom of the league, which is a quite hard place to score goals, to score well on Sorare as a striker, but he has had a bit of AA in the past. He has put up previously good scores. He's be under contract next season, and I think he'd probably still be there and would be a good pick up top. My next team, Valencia, probably not going to go down, but I actually know some of their players, so it made sense to pick this team. Gaya, picking Gaya because he probably leaves, right? Spanish international. I think he's played about 19 times, 0.04. Lots of transfer rumours over the time. Big name, has put up decent performances, scored, got a tonny in this recent chart. You know, he probably goes on, so you can pick him up. Not thinking that he plays in the second division, but looking for a bit of transfer foresight as well. Yunus Musa, under 23 for a very long time, under contract at Valencia for a very long time. Talked up highly, had a lot of talent, was expected to do really well. He's played a lot of game time, started a lot of games, hasn't performed as well as Valencia or himself probably want, down the bottom of the league. But with such a long contract, being young and not playing so well, you'd think he probably doesn't move based on who's going to want to buy him at the price that Valencia are going to want. So he could probably tear up the bottom division if they did go down, or if they stay up, he probably stays there and hopes to cement himself as he matures a bit and gets a bit better. And Thierry Correa, very similar reasons, very, very cheap, injured at the moment, 0.01, under contract of 26, did get a lot of game time, has had some injuries, was nailed in the team beforehand. Again, young talent, upside, whether he goes down, moves, or Valencia stay up and improve next year. And then my final team are Espanyol. Players from Espanyol, Keepers Union, sticking with that. Pacheco, his last sale was 0.153 for similar reasons to Badia. He is under contract till 26. He's their starting goalie. You would presume that in the championship, they'd be a higher up team than one from bottom. So his scores should improve. So if you're a second division player like me, like I said with Badia, picking up a goalie that's about to get relegated, if you want someone who's going to play a lot of games, seems like a good idea. From the middle, I picked Dada because he is their consistent scorer. You're not getting those bottom scores for a team that's struggling. He's shown that he can put up decisive, bigger scores and AA. So he's the one that would interest me from like a top talent style player. And then I picked a striker. I picked Hosselu, who has got veteran form. You'd imagine there's not going to be too much of a market for him, turning 34, but still under contract for another 2 years. He seems like the type that would go down with the club.
Stoke legend.
I don't know what wages he's on. That might decide whether that's actually possible. But being under contract and being old like that, I don't imagine that there's going to be too much of a market for him. And he's put up some really good scores. He's got the potential to do that, which means that veteran head, the experience in the lower division, if that's where they were, you could see him feasting down there. I think he is a nice price for a striker. And I've been beat. So there we go. I made it. Just got them in. That is my 9
Good work.
Quick picks from La Liga.
That was impressive, mate. Right, and John, over to you then, mate.
So yes, let me share my screen with you. In fact, I think you can already share it. There we go. So I've gone for here's the league table. So I'm doing Serie A. Always one of my favourite leagues to follow. Back in the Squaccio days in it's not Squaccio. What's it called? Lazio days.
Yeah.
Football. So I've gone for Sampdoria and Cremonese. With my amazing football knowledge, I thought those two will probably go down with 16 and 19 points from 30 games. But my third pick maybe a little more rogue, but I've gone for Lecce as my third team to go down. They do have some decent players at Lecce, but yeah, they're in bad form, and the Spezia and Verona have better fixtures coming up, I'd say. So let's start with Sampdoria. I'm going to go 2 players per team because we're short on time, and it's definitely not because I've only done 2 players per team. So my first player, I'm going to go for my boy that I've just discovered exists about an hour ago, Bram Neutink. He is an absolute bargain price at 80p for limited and around 15 quid for his rare. But if you look at his scores, he is a very solid player. Should have got this loaded beforehand. His AA scores are very good, considering that he very rarely gets a clean sheet. His AA scores here are very solid. Ignore that last game. But look at some of these scores here. He's got a very solid AA game. He is a new signing to Sampdoria. But he has, apparently, on a little bit of research, he has a relegation clause in his contract where if they get relegated, he can leave for free. And he's already announced that he'd like to go back to the Eredivisie, where he's had a few years with, who was he played for? Can't remember now. But he has played for Anderlecht and Udinese previously. He's a good player, and he's an absolute bargain. My second player is Emil Aldero, who is their main goalkeeper at Sampdoria, but is currently injured and out for a couple more months. So he's not going to have any utility for you at the moment, but he's likely to stay, I'd say, by the looks of it, until if they do go down, which they're going to. He was going for around £800 to £900 not that long ago, and is now going for considerably less than that. I think it's even less than the floor price at the moment. He's going for about £400 for a rare keeper, which I think is an absolute bargain. Okay, so that's Sampdoria. I'm going to go for Lecce as the next team. Who's the player? This is the main guy. So this is the main guy that I liked. I haven't done a bit of research this afternoon. So Morten Hrumand. He is he's getting linked with a lot of big teams. I saw a lot of links with Dortmund, Juve, Roma. Also saw some lesser links to sort of Leicester, Tottenham, teams like that, which I think he'd actually probably do better at if he joined those teams because he'd play more. He is also another player who's got a really solid AA game. He's a little bit more expensive. He's looking at around 15 quid for his limited, so it is quite dear. But he is by far their best player. And if they do go down, he will leave. I think he might even leave anyway, even if they stay up, to be honest. So he's a solid look. He's got, considering he doesn't really get many decisives, he's very good. He hasn't got any Danish caps yet, I don't think, but it won't be long to get some, I'm sure. My other player from Lecce is Gabriel Straveza. He is their top goal scorer and top assister, I think, with about 3 or 4 goals. So it's not exactly impressive, but he is by far their best player in terms of attacking ability. I think if they do go down, he's likely to stay. You stay with them. And Lecce, I know of Lecce. They're quite a. They'll probably, if they do go down, be one of the better teams down there. So yeah, he's likely to do well when he's down there. My last team is.
Oh, did you just get buzzed, mate?
Oh no. Okay, that's fine. I don't have to talk about these guys, but these are my last 2. Dessers, Serencola.
Oh, I like Dessers.
Talk about him. Tell us about Dessers. I need to know a little bit about Dessers.
Well, Serencola is more of the one that I was going to talk to you about, to be honest.
Like, go for it.
He's good value. He's 25 quid. He's a defender card and actually plays midfield. So I always like getting cards like that, sort of Castro Montes style. I swear I mention that Castro Montes every week, but gets a lot of decisives. You know, he's very much a feast or famine type of player. Look at these scores, but look at these last 2 scores here. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, it's good value. Get him in.
Maybe we should become Sorare data affiliates so you can finally get a proper membership.
We may have applied to that actually. Sorare Data would like to respond to us. That'd be grand.
Not if they watch the first 2 minutes of this podcast.
Or the first nine episodes, maybe.
Yeah.
All that middle 2 minutes there where you just left to get your laptop.
Don't know what you're on about.
Cut out it, no one will ever know.
We don't edit our videos. Right, over to me. 5 minutes. Let's go. So, I am in the German league, so Bundesliga, and looking specifically at 3 teams I think are going to go out. First one, I'm going to go Schalke. So they're actually quite a decent side. They've got a strong side, a strong first team when they're playing, but they've had just a bad season and they're really injury ravaged. I'm pretty convinced they're almost definitely going down. My picks, so I'm going for Bolter, who scored this week, is a dangerous winger stroke forward. Historical scores are very strong at the minute. He's 53. My theory behind him, as long as he stays, if he can smash it in...
He's 53?
Yeah, he's 53. He's still going. He's like the Japanese boys.
That's great.
If he can smash it like he does in Bundesliga in number 2, I think he's an absolute pickup. 75 quid. My second choice for Hertha would be their goalkeeper. So
what about Schalke though?
Yeah, what about Schalke?
I may or may not have ruined my next team. My second pick for Schalke is their injured goalkeeper, Ralf Fährmann. So he got injured last match. Going for him because he played Bundesliga 2 last season, all season, top keeper in the league. Pick him up for 83 quid, which is ridiculous for a keeper. He's contracted to 2025. He's better than Schwolo. Everyone's trying to sell him now because of his injury. Go and pick one up now because it's ridiculous. I'm going to get one for myself.
I think Schwolo's only on loan as well, isn't he, from Hertha?
Hertha, yeah. So, for me, I can't wrap my head around it, so I'm going to pick one up. And then my final pick from the team is their striker, so Fry. So you won't see him there. Fry, so he's currently top assister in the team. Scores loads of goals in Belgium. Scored everywhere he's gone. Really important. He's from the motherland. Pick him up for 26 quid. It's ridiculous. 38 cap. If he stays there, he's in a recent transfer. If he stays there, he's going to absolutely smash. So yeah, don't think about it. Just pick him up.
You said his sister's in the team.
His sister's in the team as well. Mate, you shouldn't be asking those kind of questions. Anyway,
when women's leagues?
Not on this pod. Not on this pod.
Second team, Hertha. Who'd have thought it?
Second team, Hertha. Played Schalke this week, who were definitely going down and got beat 5-2. In case you didn't know, Rick supports Hertha. Who we're going for in this team? Ideally, no one, but we have to pick someone. So, Richter. I'm a fan of Richter. He's top average player at the minute in terms of SO5. Plays assists, has set piece duty at times, can play a high level, way higher than Bundesliga 2. Again, I think he'll smash it in Bundesliga 2, not if, but when they go down. Then my next pick is their striker. So Stefan Jovetic. So he picked up a knock as well. Half the team picked up knocks. 15 quid, could be 22. He's cheap, probably because his contract's going, so he may leave. Where's he going to go? Probably Saudi and then be worth nothing. But if not, pick him up and he will smash it in the league below. And then finally, just at speed, I would also consider picking up their goalkeeper. So their goalkeeper, Christiansen, who scored a big fat 0 in the last score. Why pick him up? Because I think he's got sticks for next season and because Ricky supports Hertha and he told me to do so. So listen to Rick.
He made the Danish, he makes a national team. It's about the third choice. He's my second ever highest sale on Sorare as well. He's a promising goalie, but he's playing behind a bad defence, so he's not getting much support.
Perfect. And I've got 1 minute left, so I'm going to whiz through this team. Augsburg are my last team, which is probably the surprise of the group. So the way Bundesliga is set up, it's 2 go down, 1 into playoffs. The playoff team likely to be from League 2, I think, in my opinion, could be St. Pauli, who are on fire. So I think 3 teams will ultimately go down from Bundesliga. And I think Augsburg, because they're piss poor at the minute and on real bad form, will be the team to go out. But who would I pick up? Arnie Mayer, because his name's Arnie and he's actually a very good player. Thomas Kubek, because he is actually a pretty handy keeper, and I think Gifvich will go because he's better than division down. And then Ruben Vargas, Swiss international, and I'm out.
Great work.
There we go.
Well done.
So that brings us to the end of relegation. They're going down. I'm yelling by them. So, Rick, there's probably only one more thing to do before we leave, isn't there?
They're going down. I'm yelling fire. Get your wallet out. Spend some money. Buy some players from Hertha Berlin because they're going down. Bundesliga. All right, it's enough of that.
Right. Anyway, if you're still here, thank you. Don't know why, but thank you.
No one's staying after that.
We'll see you next week for episode 11. Up the Thursday Club.
Up the Toffees.
Viva the Thursday Club.
Up the Toffees.